December 27th, 2023 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, will the town clerk please call roll?
Trustee Beckman?
Here.
Trustee Dean?
Here.
Trustee Lane?
Here.
Trustee Meisner?
Here.
Trustee Wakeman?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Here.
Mayor Austin?
Here. Thank you. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to add to the discussion agenda a plan for dealing with illegal immigrants filtering into Milliken.
Discussion agenda, illegal immigrants in Milliken. Okay, any other adjustments? Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Do we have any citizens' comments this evening? Hearing none, we're moving right on. Okay. Need to approve the minutes from the meeting of December 13th, 2023. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I approve the meeting minutes for December 13th, 2023. Second.
Clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. All right, does anybody have any questions on the list of bills for December 2023? I signed those checks, so I didn't have any issues. No questions? Acknowledgement of the bills is done. Okay. Next up is the Town Administrator's Report. Administrator Powell.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Be a short report. Staff's just been working on end of the year items, evaluations, and so on. So trying to do the housekeeping before the new year starts. But I do want to remind everyone that the Loveland Ready Mix hearing regarding the haul route will be on Wednesday, January 10th at 9 a.m. The location, I believe, is 1150 O Street in Greeley. This is the route in which one of the haul routes was suggested as a left turn off of 48.5 onto Highway 257. Also, the PDC Chevron hearing, in much regard to the same thing, haul route, will be held on Thursday, January 25th at 9:30 a.m. The hearing location is 1402 North 17th Avenue and the county's oil and gas building. As I indicated, this is also regarding that same haul route.
Could you repeat those, Sharon? Please.
Which part?
The,
Both of them? All in all?
yeah, the
Okay.
address, time, and location.
Sure.
I mean,
So Loveland Ready Mix is Wednesday, January 10th at 9 a.m. at 1150 O Street. And I believe, Pepper, is that the administration building?
yes.
Yes. Let me know, are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
The PDC Chevron hearing is Thursday, January 25th at 9:30. The location is 1402 North 17th Avenue. And this is in the county's oil and gas building. You're welcome. We can send out email too. I'll have Carrie send out an email to all of you with both of these on there. Unless Pepper, is there anything else that needs to be added to those?
No, I'll double check and make sure that they're in person meetings. The last time they met on the PDC, it was a Zoom only, so.
Okay. All right, we'll get you the information.
Thank you.
And send it out. That's it.
Okay, any questions for the town administrator?
I do
Okay.
want to add one thing. If you haven't been down Cherry Street, you need to go down Cherry Street.
It looks nice.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's done, but minus a little landscaping that'll get done once the wind quits blowing.
Mhm. Okay. Well, congratulations to our town staff for getting that done. It's a beautiful job. All right,
That would
next
be
on
job.
the agenda is the consent agenda. We have 3 items. We have the consideration approval of agreement for municipal jail services between Weld County and the town of Milliken. We have consideration and approval of a professional service agreement between Pets Emergency Hospital and the townships and agencies, and consideration and approval of professional services contract with True Green Limited Partnership. I'll take a motion on the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right. First item on the action agenda is consideration and adoption of resolution number 23-27, a resolution to file a diligence application for conditional water rights decree in case number 16 CW 3150. Presenting is Scott Holbrook, town water attorney.
Can you hear us?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, trustees. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you for the latitude of letting me appear on Zoom tonight and saving the drive up and down I-25. Appreciate that. This resolution is being requested as a continuing attempt to firm up the town's conditional water rights. If you'll recall, we've done this several times recently. I was looking back at my notes and we had a conditional water right diligence application in 2021 and 2 in 2022. This would be the 4th of a series of wells that were appropriated and have been either operated or at least contemplated for operation and construction by the town over the last 10 years or so. This is the first time that this particular set of wells goes before the court for a finding of diligence. The original decree, as was mentioned, was filed in case number 16 CW 3150. And these wells are the FBC Park Well, the Florence Park Well, the Fitness Park Well, and the Watson Well. The first 3, by my notes, are all on the west side of town and have been contemplated as a potential irrigation source. And in fact, the uses that are decreed are for irrigation within the town's limit, as the town's geographical limit may change over time. My understanding is those have not yet been constructed or utilized, so at this point we're seeking an additional 6-year period before the court to allow the town to make a determination how it's going to use those vested water rights in that time period. The 4th one is the Watson Well, and my notes here show that we're in the process of integrating that well into the Ehrlich Lake Pump Station project, and that's something that has not been completed yet, so this is still a conditional water right that hasn't been used, but it is something that the town is proceeding on in terms of construction and ultimate operation and use in the near future. So, as I shared in the past, I asked for a resolution from the trustees to affirm and confirm that the town still wants to continue to try to perfect these conditional water rights that it expended some dollars for back in 2016. And the resolution is pretty straightforward. It just talks about the original appropriation and decree. It talks about the fact that under the 1969 Act, every 6 years you go back before the water court to show that you have been diligently working to continue and or perfect those water rights. And when you do that, you put yourself before the court, and any opposers that seek to file opposition to render opposition to a case like this. In the previous 3 cases I mentioned, we had exactly 0 opposers. So each of those cases proceeded pretty expeditiously and with relatively minimal cost to the town, and just secured those previous rights for an additional 6-year diligence cycle. So we get to the point where we're utilizing all the water rights that we have decreed. So with that, I would take questions. The net action item would be asking the trustees to adopt the resolution 23-27, which could allow us to go to water court with the town's affirmation that these are important portions of their water rights portfolio, and we want to keep and continue them for an additional 6-year period.
Okay. Questions from the board, starting with Trustee Lane?
I have no questions.
Okay, Trustee Dean?
No questions.
Trustee Beckman?
No questions, thanks.
Trustee Meisner?
I have no questions.
Trustee Wakeman?
No questions, thank you.
And Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich, any questions for Scott Ulrich?
None.
Okay, well,
None for me.
I think your presentation was clear and concise. I have no questions, so if there's no further discussion, I'll take a motion on the matter.
I move to adopt Resolution 23-27, a resolution to file a diligence application for conditional water rights decreed in case number 16CW3150.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Wakeman,
Yes.
Trustee Beckman,
Yes.
Trustee Dean,
Yes.
Trustee Lane,
Yes.
Trustee Meisner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, trustees. Hope you have a great New Year holiday, and we'll see you in 2024.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye now.
All right, next item on the agenda is the consideration and approval of resolution number 23-26 for the 2023 mill levy for the 2024 property tax revenue, presenting as Wade Nickerson, Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. This resolution is to set the mill levy for the 2023 mill for 2024 budget. After all of the special sessions at the state, this is a little later than it normally is. We normally have to have this to the county by the 15th of December. We have it, it has to be there by January this year, or January of next year for this collection period. So what we're doing this year is we are, there's a temporary credit on the general operating levy, and then we're lowering the debt levy to cover the necessary debt on the building we're currently in. What that'll do is that'll take the levy down 1.17 mils temporarily, but down 1.17 mils from where we were last year. And I will take any questions on that mill levy.
And could you please provide clarification for when you say temporarily, the length of time?
Yeah.
So that everyone knows.
So due to the revenue limits that were required by state statute to cover, to not exceed 5.5% of our revenue, we will have a temporary credit that is a one-year credit on mill levy credit to make sure that we collect 5.5% or less of our revenue limit. And so that'll last 1 year. We redo this calculation every year. The last time we had a temporary credit like this was 2021. So we seem to do this pretty frequently. And so that it is just that 1 year.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay, we'll go to the board for questions. Trustee Lane, do you have any questions?
I have no questions, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Wakeman?
No questions, thank you.
Trustee Meisner?
No, I have no questions.
Trustee Beckman?
No questions.
Trustee Dean?
No questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
No questions.
Okay, I already asked my question, thank you. Okay, if there are no further questions or discussion, I'll take a motion on the matter.
I move to approve Resolution 23-26, establishing the 2023 mill levy for the 2024 budget.
Second.
So, clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Beckman?
Yes.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Lane?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes,
Motion carries.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Wayne.
All right, so that takes care of our action items for this meeting. We're down to the discussion agenda. Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich, you wanted a discussion on the illegal immigration, possibly in Milliken.
Yeah, I had a meeting with my accountant yesterday, and he did in Fort Collins, and he was telling me about the infiltration of the illegal immigrants showing up at churches, looking for food, clothing, and shelter in Loveland, Fort Collins. And, they don't have a plan for that. I'm just wondering if that's something that we need to look at as a town of Milliken. Because they're moving in here. And how are we gonna handle that if we have an influx of illegal immigrants showing from Milliken looking for food, shelter, and clothing? Just throwing it out there for thought.
Well, I know that we don't have any facilities. I don't know that we have any churches that are equipped to handle such an influx, and we don't have any shelters, so I'd be interested in what town staff thinks about the possibility. I mean, if they showed up in town, I don't know what we would do with them.
I'm not saying it won't happen or that it can't happen, but most of what I've seen and heard is most of these immigrants are going into the larger cities because they have these services where they can get food, shelter, and clothing. Now, with the amount that's coming in, Leron, I can completely understand any concern. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I do know that we do have the food pantry at the church. And the other thing we really don't have here either is public transportation. So for them to come into Milliken, it would probably have to probably be on foot unless they get a ride from somebody. So I think our risks are smaller than these large municipalities, but
I do not know that we would house them in any of our public facilities. We don't have any way to house them in our, even though we are.
I think we need to bus them out or buy bus tickets back to Denver. All in degree in the town van or something where they got services.
right. Well, we don't have any shelters here. What we have are emergency shelters, but those are not meant for housing for people just on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you. That was the thought I was trying to get to, is we have emergency, like what we kind of did in 2013, but this is totally different.
Correct.
And so I
Yeah,
don't know.
those were our displaced residents.
Yeah.
You know, we've had shelters before when people, we've housed them in the community room of the town hall when there was a snowstorm and they couldn't get anywhere or got into an accident or a vehicle stuck. But those are few and far between, those occurrences happening. But
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause
Benny offered to drive the bus, I'm just saying.
Yeah. But we have no on-site food storage.
We
have
don't.
no ability to cook or care for people that come into town.
I mean,
So-
we've very few homeless in our area, so we're just not the place that offers the kind of services that what these immigrants would be looking for, because essentially that's the same position they're in. They're homeless.
There are several shelters. There's the Guadalupe shelter up in Greeley. There's
Mhm.
a food shelter up in Greeley. There's also a shelter up in Fort Collins.
Well, the Denver Rescue Mission is in Fort Collins.
And then you want to bear in mind that anything like that you subsidize, you're going to get more of. So if you want it, subsidize it.
And that's what we do. We just, if somebody comes to the police department or somebody's looking for shelter, if they're looking for food, we refer them to the Guadalupe shelter, some of the shelters.
And that's quite large. The Guadalupe shelter is quite large.
How do they get there?
Not sure.
And they
That's
have
on
cold
there.
shelters.
It's on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be
Now, I
concerned.
don't think it's gonna happen here, but just in case, I'm not for it, I'm not for supporting him, and I'm not for Milliken being a safe haven for him.
Right.
Thank you, Leron.
I don't think that we should be transporting. It's a liability on us.
I'm good with that. I just wanted to ask the question.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I mean, we need to cover those bases. We start transporting, and then before we know it, we become a bus service.
So do we need to declare that we're not a sanctuary city then? Or do you declare that you are if you want to be?
Well, Denver has declared that they are.
Right, but I'm asking whether we need a declaration on it, because if you don't state what you are,
What your position is. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's an interesting,
Prevention is what
it's an interesting thought, but my gut reaction is I'd prefer not to, because that would then draw attention to us, to encourage them to test us.
good point.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
That's a good point. Thank you.
they could find themselves standing out at Lake Ehrlich. No place to go.
Yeah,
Do we have any laws against tent towns or, putting up tents in parks or places where there's water and public, restrooms for them?
They
Is
don't
there any
even
kind
use
of
the
laws
public
against
restrooms.
in our town for that?
We don't allow, the parks close at sundown, so we don't allow them in the parks overnight. That includes the skate park and the areas around the lakes, and it is posted on the signs around there. So I think that we're covered on that, and the rest of the property is private property. And I'm not sure that our farmers would condone having people pitch tents on their property. It would be a serious miscalculation on their part.
Does that park rule also for the ones that the town doesn't use or doesn't own, like the HOA owns? So like Sunrise, Sunset?
No, that just applies to the town's parks.
Okay. I'll talk to Jimmy for Settlers. I think somebody should maybe contact Centennial. They have a park, their own park.
Contact the HOA.
Yeah,
But doesn't the HOA have ordinances or rules and stuff?
we should probably just have them
Just,
check.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I live in one of those and I don't know.
Yeah, have them cover.
They should.
I mean,
The
I'm not out
hours.
at the park at midnight. But I'm
They
just-
should have bylaws.
Mhm.
Bylaws and policies governing such things.
Yes. Okay. Other concerns? Any other discussion people would like to bring up? We're a lively bunch tonight.
It's the last meeting of the year.
It is. Does anybody have any board reports or other business to bring before the board? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're done. Everybody, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Please have